I'm trying to let him in, but we can probably like get started. So if you want to, we'll just start with you just introducing yourself. Tell us just a little bit about you, like how you got into real estate and all of that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, my name is Tiffany McLaurin, and I'm originally from Selma, North Carolina, if you guys know where that's at. Selma's kind of blowing up a little bit due to the growth of Raleigh. But basically, when I left Selma, went to college at UNCG, got a degree in economics, came back home after college because I couldn't find a job. And I started in IT, worked in IT for a bit. And while I was in IT, got laid off. And when I got laid off the first time, I was like, I'm never getting laid off again. The next time somebody get fired, like I'm going to be doing the firing. So real estate's always been a passion of mine. I grew up in a fixer-upper, so I was always looking for the next house. And long story short, I got my real estate license while I was working in IT. And that's how I got started in real estate. It's always been an interest from high school all the way into college. Like people always told me I should get into it. So a light bulb just went off and I got my license. So here I am. I do real estate in Raleigh as well as Charlotte. I have a full service brokerage. We service over 21 counties in the state of North Carolina. And we just been doing amazing. So I hope that summed up a bit about me. I'll tell a little bit more as we go along. So.
Yes, yeah. So, can you tell us like just a little bit about like how you built your business and like kind of how you got started? How did you like start getting clients and kind of like what are your main sources of business?
Got it. Okay. So how I got started, as I said before, growing up in that fixer-upper, right? I was just always looking for the next house. So it developed in me what I feel is like a natural zest for helping people find their next house. So I was always helping like family and friends look for homes. And when that light bulb went off, it went off in college, but I didn't have enough money to pursue it. But when it went off, when I got laid off, I was like, okay, well, I can't leave my job to go do real estate because I really didn't have any financial support besides my job. So what I did was, once I got my license in 2015, while I was working my other job, I started posting and marketing on social media. So I was marketing on social media while I was working full time. And on my page, if you went to my Instagram page and Facebook page at that time, it didn't look like I had another job. I was marketing specifically to real estate. I would plan out my marketing before I went to work. And people would just see these posts, family and friends would see the posts, they'll share it. And before you knew it, I was hosting home buying seminars on the weekends. And I grew a good sphere of clients to service and sell to. And what that led to was, if you do a good job with, your first set of clients and you continue to do a good job with everybody that they refer, you eventually have a big referral base of people that keep referring you. And then on top of that, I love social media. So I was still posting on social media. So that allowed me to attract even more clients. And I would say I built my audience on social media by providing value. I was doing things like home buying tip Tuesdays. I was doing home tours. I was educating people on the process and of course those home buying seminars. So that's how I built my business. And the biggest part of that is once you get to people, social media is just a business card, just doing a really good job with them. That's what allowed my business to grow. It's all referral based and social media.
That's amazing. So when you got started, and because I feel like we do a lot on social media, like I feel like there wasn't a lot of agents really utilizing it, and it's changed a lot. So I know I guess talk a little bit about what do you post? I know you said your home buying, your tips, your tours, but like what kinds of things do you post, and also what are your main platforms you use?
Got it. Okay.
There's so many nowadays.
Yes. So you're right. When I got started, no one was really doing real estate marketing on social media. As a matter of fact, it was very frowned upon. people are like, that's not the correct way to do it. You got to door knock, you got to cold call. And those ways work, but how can I door knock? How can I cold call when I'm at work? So I definitely use that to my advantage. And getting started early, it wasn't as many people. Because if you get on social media now, a lot of people are doing some of the same things, which is fine because everybody has their own set of clients. But back then, you stood out because nobody was marketing on there. And as I said, it was the home buying tip Tuesdays, it was the home tours, and the platforms that I started on were Instagram was my main source. And I did use my personal page because I know a lot of people are like, should I do personal? Should I do business? But what I looked at was, this is where all my people are. This is where I have the most followers. Why would I start from scratch when I got some people that could look at this right now? And some people will say, well, people are going to get tired of seeing real estate. Well, I'm like, this is my job and I got to build this business up. The people that's tired of looking at it will just have to unfollow me so I can make room for the people that do want to see it. So long story short with that as well, when I was posting on Instagram, I got rid of some of the stuff on my page, tequila, parties out with my friends. I archived a lot of that because we were new on social media. I wanted people to take me serious as a real estate broker. And so I used Instagram, my personal page. Snapchat back then was really popular for me. I was on there and I did nothing but real estate stuff on Snapchat. And then I reactivated my Facebook when I was in real estate school. So basically, I didn't like Facebook. It's still not one of my favorite ones. But of course, it's where most people are on there, all ages. So I reactivated my Facebook and I use that as well. So Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat were the three biggest ones that I used when I started. And just to tell you how long ago that was, Instagram they didn't have stories, they didn't have videos. All you could post was pictures. So that's why I was doing Snapchat for tours. And I was coming over to Instagram for posting pictures and just pictures of content that I was making on Canva. And then I would do the same thing on Facebook. But right now, if we asking me what I use now, it's going to be Instagram primarily and Facebook. And because I built my sphere up so much, I don't really use any other platforms at the moment. But I heard people have really good luck with LinkedIn, and some people still on Snapchat. But
right.
That's it.
That's awesome. And if you don't follow Tiffany, you definitely need to. What's your handle on Instagram, just so people can follow you if they don't already?
It's Tiffany.McLaurin. Made it plain and simple so people can find you. I also use the same headshot on every platform. Yeah, Tiffany.McLaurin, so that I'm easily recognized. You don't have to be like, is that her? Is that her? It's uniform across every platform. So you should be able to guess. Yes.
So
love following.
They know that's Tiffany. Yeah.
Yes. So, my branding. That somebody just commented on the branding.
Yeah, let's talk about branding because you are so good at your branding. So to you, what is branding and kind of how did you build your brand? Because you are very great. You're amazing at staying on brand. So
yes. So when I got started, as said before, it's a lot of real estate brokers out there, right? And I knew I wanted to close deals in heels every time I closed. And I looked up the hashtag. I was like, it's a lot of people popping up closing deals in heels. We all looking great in our heels. So I was like, how can I set myself apart? And so I was like, I'm still gonna close deals in heels, but I want them to be red heels because red is my favorite color. And it has been. So that goes to the authenticity piece. When it comes to branding, to me, that's what branding means. Being authentic, being recognizable and consistent. It's basically the language that your company speaks. So if you look at my brand, what I go for is I stay true to myself, of course. So red is my favorite color, has been for forever. So I stay true with the color that I love. Also, when it comes to the aesthetics and things that I post, some of the things that I was sharing on Instagram and Snapchat, it would still be aspects of my personal life. So I did a lot of vacationing before I was in real estate, probably more. So I would share aspects of me on vacation. I would also share restaurants I was going to. And to me, that's all a part of my brand too, because it shows you things that I like to do. And if that resonates with you as a person, or if it's something that you want to try out, then you're like, oh, she likes coffee, she likes champagne, she likes the ocean, so it's basically the language that your business speaks that represents you. And that's what I did with building my brand, staying consistent in authenticity, what represents me and what's going to speak with the people. Because there's some parts that are authentic to you that you may not need to share, like, let's say, for instance, I don't know, I was about to say something crazy, like, you like to bite your nails. We don't need to see you doing that. Like, I just, just some things you'll pick and choose what you need to share. But that's what the brand means to me, just the language my business speaks. So
I love that.
Y'all, seriously, go look at her page. I just popped on it too. I hadn't had a chance yet. And it really is, between the personal page and the business one just on Instagram, branding is absolutely the word to use. It's not all over a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, you see this and I would automatically think you, and I haven't even met you yet. And that's really cool to see. Like, it feels very you. That's really cool. I love it.
Yes, like, people would call me, they'll be like, first of all, some people assume I just close deals in Christian Louboutins or red bottoms. Like, I couldn't afford those starting out. So my red heels were just regular standard red heels. But they would see the red bottoms and say, oh, I saw these and thought about you. These are your shoes. And I'm like, definitely not my shoes, but thank you. And also, like, if you're at a stop sign, anything red, people are automatically just thinking of me. And that's what you want, like, because if you see a red stop sign and your mom just called you and said she's ready to sell your house, who are you going to call? Me. So yeah, just, picking things that's authentic to you that can make people remember your business language. It's going to be very beneficial. So
I'm curious, I feel like I know, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
As far as your social media, is that your main source of business? And how do you get business from social media? Is it all organic, or do you do like paid ads or even prospecting? Like, do you send people direct messages, or is it all organic? I feel like you just attract people to you based on who you are and what you put out there. So
yes, it's more of an attraction. So it's definitely more of an attraction. I tried paid ads. We do a thing called Text Us Tuesday, that basically where people can text us on Tuesday all day. We have a dedicated phone where they can ask us questions. But even that, the attraction has to be done before we say we're doing that. So I would say it just goes back to lifestyle information put out there. And I do want to backtrack a little bit, because if you look at my page now and you're a new agent, that's not where you need to start. That's not where you need to start. I offered a lot more, MRG clients, that's trap. Hey, Jamie. But there's a lot more that value that was offered when I initially started than what you see now. It's more of like aesthetic influencer type vibe on there now. And I have a different price point. My price point is triple since I started. So what you see now as a new agent, I wouldn't advise that. Because I want you to be able to make some money. Okay, so so I would say that as a new agent, go back to the basics, delivering value. People don't know what earnest money is. People don't know what due diligence is. Making videos that explain those things, and providing value with just house tours at people's price points that are contacting you. That's going to be important as well. Another thing that I wanted to point out is when it comes to aesthetics, people will look at my page and be like, oh, she looks like she has a very eye for details, like attention to details. And attention to details is very important when you're in a transaction as well, right? So I say that to say, as you're posting pictures, care about the aesthetics. As you're posting tours, as you're posting content from Canva, care about the aesthetics. Don't just slap it up there just to say that you have something on there. And if you know you're not good in Canva, you know that your phone quality is terrible, let's go invest in a new phone. or let's, get someone else to do your graphics to post on your page, because things like that matter as well. Not to everybody, but a lot of people will contact me that were attracted to my page just from the attention to detail that they see. And I think that's something that people overlook. Just like she was saying earlier, when she went to my page, it's not like here, there, everywhere. Being able to pick that up about a person builds trust for the consumer. So that's one thing I would say when it comes to attracting people. But that's what I do. I don't do paid ads. We tried to do a paid ad during Texas Tuesday, and I didn't see an ROI. If I don't really see a big return on investment, then I will cancel it. And I did. So I would just have family and friends push things, because are you more inclined to click or call on a service if you see a friend or a family member share it, or if you just see this random ad posting in your feed? It's so many of those that come across. Why not be able to view it from a trusted individual? And don't be afraid to ask people to share your stuff. You're having a seminar, you got some real good content, a real amazing tour that you did, share with your family and friends. And if they don't want to do it, maybe you got somebody that's been cheering you on in your comments, ask them to share it, So I think that that's much more valuable than paid ads starting off as a new agent.
Hey, Tiffany, I have a question. I apologize.
Oh,
Hey, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I've been a big fan for a while. How do you, and I have my own business, how do you take new employees and I guess the best word to say is merge your brand and make sure they carry your brand? Because I think that's probably my hardest issue, is that my brand is so unique, and then everybody's having the issue of keeping employees, but I just need to, it's kind of hard for me to make my employees carry the brand and become the brand. And I feel like the only way I've been able to do that is to give my employees a percentage to make them feel like they're part of the brand.
Got it. Understood. I would say this goes back to that attraction thing. So everybody knows I love my brand, right? I got the necklace on, I'm drinking out the cup, I got a belt buckle, everything's red in my closet. So I'm all in. So most of the people that I attract, they come in wanting to be all in as well. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't want to look like I'm running a cult. Everything don't need to be red, black and white. Why don't you wear some of your own stuff? And they're like, okay. And then we'll show up to the photo shoot, or they'll show up on their stories and they still have red, black and white on. So I think the biggest piece to that is me being all in. Them seeing me pushing the brand so hard is what allows them to want to be all in and join in as well. So I don't really pay anybody. I don't think you should either, to have to push your company if you're hiring them. And I know you're probably paying them well as well. I know it's a different industry and a different time period with attracting employees, because you're in the hospitality, like restaurant business, right, Mikhail?
Yeah, and events, of course, but yes, and I just feel that everybody's trying to do their own thing, and I feel like nowadays everybody wants to do their own thing. Nobody wants to work for someone, and I feel like at this point it's almost, hey, look, I give you 10% of sales. And I feel like that's the only thing I've been able to do for people to, because I don't work in my own business. Everybody knows that. So I feel like that's the only way I've been able to have my employees, represent the business and act like it's theirs, for them to go, because I'm never around. And I feel like that was the only way I would be able to do it, to give them a percentage. And I hate giving them a percentage, but I don't know any other way to get around it.
Look, I'm already thinking of a way to get around it. I'm like, why don't you hire some brand ambassadors? Let the employees that you have that want to work for you, just do the work that needs to keep the business side running, but hire some brand ambassadors and pay them the 10%. Because if that's what their sole marketing part is being an ambassador for a brand, it'll look more organic and, come across better, because that's their sole purpose. I would outsource that, especially in the time period that we're in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all feel free to jump in and ask questions. Absolutely. We want you to ask Tiffany questions. You got some time with her, so at any point, feel free.
Yeah. So I have a question. How do you now, and I know it's probably a little different now, but how do you plan your content? And what else was I gonna say? Let's just start there. Like kind of like how nowadays, like what's your typical day like, and how do you actually execute to get all your social media done?
Got it. Okay, my typical day, I have a morning routine. If you're a new agent, please get one. It helps so much. But I have a dedicated time period within that routine throughout the day. I have a dedicated time period where I use to brainstorm on things that I want to do. And during that time period, because we're being realistic, not every idea like pops up. Not all of those ideas pops up, but my brain comes alive in the nighttime too. But I would say I look at what's going on. You have to do your research, especially with social media changing every couple of days, you know, with the algorithms and what they want to see. Right now, you know, Instagram has a heavy focus on videos. So reels, and even IGTV will come after reels. I would just say reels. They really want to see 3 to 4 reels a day from us. Impossible if you're a real estate broker. But so I kind of tailor what I'm gonna post based off that. Like right now, I'm kind of doing a redirection of where my page is going, where I'm bringing more like of real time, what's really happening in my business back to my page. So my plan now is to do at least, if you guys saw the last reel I did with the home tour, to at least do 3 or 4 of those a month, not a day, 3 or 4 of those a month, as well as going live. They really want to see you on live. So it would have been great, you know, guys, we should have did this on live on Instagram. But yeah, they really want to see you on live, like they're monetizing it so that you're getting paid to be on live if you are putting certain content out there or people are paying to, you know, see. So I would just say I tailor my content around what's going to get me in the algorithm and push to more people. And that's what leads to, of course, more followers and more attraction. Because sometimes you can have the most perfect page, you could be posting everything right, but if you're not doing the right things, as far as when I say everything right, meaning the aesthetics look good, you went out and got a professional video, but maybe it's not a reel, you know, maybe you haven't been going live, maybe you don't post on your story, those missing components of you not doing those things can push you to the bottom of the algorithm where nobody sees your stuff. So I would say right now, the biggest thing for me is refocusing my content based on the algorithms of Instagram. Facebook, whatever I post on Instagram, I just try to bring over to Facebook if it fits. Some things don't fit on Facebook. If I want to show me, you know, out enjoying the beach in St. Bart's and my mom may not like the swimsuit I have on, I'm not going to show it on Facebook, you know? So I just say, have a dedicated time in your schedule that you are brainstorming and thinking about the content that you want to produce. And you can use that time period to actually gather it and create it. I don't have to have a reminder when to post my stuff. I just like actually posting. So I don't use those apps that automatically sends it out. I think it's like Hootsuite. Help me out if you use the app, one of you ladies that pushes your.
Lots of them.
What was it?
Buffer's another one. There's a handful.
Later,
yeah.
Yeah, so you can use those to push your content out. But I already know every morning I'm saying good morning. I'm posting as much as I can throughout the day. Me planning and putting what I'm doing out there every 5 minutes has changed since I've become an actual full broker. Because if you're in real estate, you know, if your client sees you out in the streets, or maybe they just see you grabbing a cup of coffee, and that may have been the only 5 minutes you have, they may think like, oh, she's available for me to call now, so I'm gonna call her. So I have to watch what I post now so that I can make sure that I'm having adequate amount of time to be able to service the clients in the business. But yeah, set aside time in your schedule, study what's going on around you. If people are posting a lot of TikTok videos, maybe you need to head over and see what they're doing on TikTok. And that's another thing I left out. I am posting on TikTok now. And if you are just getting started in the Instagram space and you notice that you are growing slowly on Instagram, right now, the best thing to do is to go to TikTok and build your audience there. And that will help accelerate your growth on Instagram. That's just a gem I wanted to drop. So.
Love that.
Tiffany, you mentioned the planning time for social media, but just in general, you mentioned planning a couple of times, and it makes me think of on the business versus in the business. And right now, everyone is so busy that it's a lot of in the business. How much time would you say you spend on it, in the planning and forecasting and just thinking ahead and not being out in the field?
So I only put about 30 or 45 minutes into planning content for social media, because although it is important, I'm a great real estate broker first. So you don't want to get too caught into just focusing on content and focus on social media that you're letting things like fall through the cracks. When I have a set time that I'm looking at email, I also have an admin that looks at my email 3 times a day and replies to things. I have a specific time that I do buyers consultations, a specific time that we can schedule my listing appointments. I used to be one of those people that just kind of jumped and went every time a client like, oh, I need to go here. When's as soon as you can meet? But what I noticed is I was being too reactive. So the quality of what I was presenting was going down. And also I was double booking myself. So going back to creating that schedule and working in the business, even at a busy time right now, it actually helps me to be more organized and be more efficient so I can service more clients at a high level. So I have set time to work in the business and then also on the business within that schedule. So
I love that.
Something similar that kind of goes along with that. Like, how do you take time off? Because I feel like you're pretty good at it. And I think a lot of us struggle. Like, how do you make time for yourself and take time off? And kind of what does that look like when you aren't here to service clients?
Got it. So, that's such a trick question, Rebecca. I make it look like I'm so good at it, but I'm not good with taking time off. So first off, I said I started in 2015. The end of 2019 was the first time I left my laptop at home during a vacation. And I was having withdrawals then. But I would say I basically fit it in based off of my schedule. So I try to put everything on the calendar. Of course, that's what you need to do. And then if I see a free weekend, then I'm going. Like, for instance, I went to Miami like 2 weeks ago. And it was only because I had a free Wednesday and Thursday. Like, I didn't, and it was on the schedule. I booked the flight on Tuesday, so I wouldn't say I'm the best person for that question, but all I say is when I see the gaps in the schedule, I take advantage of it. And then if I have something planned out, like in advance, like my birthday month, November is like, it's like a holiday for me. Okay. Every year it has been forever. So I already know that's going to be a light month for me. So I'll make sure that I'm reaching out to people that my showing assistants or people that show houses for my team to set the expectations that I'm going to need help during this time. And then also, now I have my admin handling majority of my emails. So I don't have to be as hands-on there. And my phone that I was reaching for is the one I'm on for Zoom. But this phone is supposed to be with my admin, you guys, but she doesn't have it because I got attachment issues. But basically, this phone is supposed to be forwarded to her, and she's supposed to be answering all the phone calls to alleviate me from answering every 5 minutes so I can make time for me. So I can go on vacation, but as you can see, I'm on it right now. So I'm not the best person for that question, Rebecca. The one thing I can tell you is that my morning routine, back to my schedule, the first 3 hours of the day are dedicated to me. I don't touch this phone then. I don't look at anything work related before 9 o'clock, unless I got like a 9 o'clock closing and I want to make sure nothing crazy is going on in my email. But the first 3 hours of the day are dedicated to me: meditation, prayer, reading books, non-real estate related books in the morning, as well as I turn on my music and just burn some incense. I go work out. I do that so that I can just ground myself for a day and then push myself all the way in. So I would say make time for you on a daily in your schedule, and you can do it. You may have to wake up earlier, but you can do that. And that helps me so much. And then also just do a better job than me than planning out your vacations. And I would say the key to that is just having somebody available to show homes for you, and then having a proper support staff to maybe you have a TC that's sending out that has a system where they send out offers for you, and all you have to do is run the comps. Things like that. I would say that's leverage on my support staff has helped me, but I'm not clocked out. So yeah.
Great.
A question.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. My name is Crystal. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for your time. I've been looking forward to speaking with you for a while now. So this was really great. Thank you for putting this together. I am a dual career agent, and I've been in vaccine manufacturing for 13 years, and I've had a rising career since out of high school. But I've grown to love real estate as I purchased my first home, not realizing that real estate was in my blood because my dad invests back at home. He has commercial and rental property. So I got bit by the bug a few years ago, and I was like, wow, this was in my DNA the whole time. But I'm at a point where I'm struggling because I have a rising career, right, in both, right? I have executive leadership tapping me for my day-to-day, but then I have real estate, which I feel like I'm balancing very well. But of course, it's not at the point where I'm like, oh, I can just drop everything and rely on it. So what would be your top tips for a dual career agent who is either trying to figure out if they want to balance it or just a safe approach, if you will? And, I understand having faith in God first, right? Because he will be my safety net at the end of the day. But just trying to transition out of a career or even thinking about balancing both. What's your take on that situation, and what would be your top advice?
Got it. So dual career, I need to just give you a clap because I know how hard that is. And
Thank you.
yes,
I'm literally in front of my other laptop now listening to you. So yeah.
I remember those days. But basically my very first piece of advice is deciding which one you really, really want. Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to juggle both, but I knew I needed both at that time to be able to get real estate off the ground. And then also, we were just talking about, having faith and trust in God. You're going to have to take that leap, whether it is, hey, I really want to focus on just expanding the career that I have outside of real estate and revisiting real estate at a later time so that I could focus on this. Or if it's going to be real estate, just having some reserves. I would say I recommend, right now, this market, at least having 6 months of reserve before you leave your job, or a good amount of closings lined up, maybe 6 closings lined up before you leave. And then just have like a game plan when you're leaving as well. Like, okay, this is going to be my schedule when I leave corporate. And this is the amount of contacts I need to make. This is the amount of networking I need to do. Like, having a game plan when you leave your job is going to be very important. But the biggest thing is deciding which one is best, because doing both, I was doing good at real estate, but looking back, if I would have continued in that same route, I would have burnt myself out completely. Like, completely. I don't even know how I did it. But special people like me and you, we can for a certain amount of time. It was almost 3 years for me, but I wouldn't recommend staying, in a dual career if you want to do real estate at a high volume for the remainder, of the time that you're out here working. So my biggest thing is coming up with a game plan of which career is going to be best for where you're at in life right now, making that decision and coming up with the date that you're going to leave whichever job that it is, and giving your all to that particular industry. And if it was going to be something like, you selling t-shirts or something on the side, I'm like, keep both. But it's just too demanding to me for you to really continue to do both and not have a game plan on which one you're going to choose. I mean, I hope that that's helpful. If you would have caught me when I was still working the other job, I was like, keep on. But now that I'm out here, I don't miss my other job at all, because like you said, it's in my blood. And if it was up to me, I probably should have left sooner than I did. So anyway.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And just DM me if you have anything like specific you want me to help you try to get a game plan together. Because somebody just said take the leap. It's worth it. It definitely is. So
thank y'all.
So one thing I'm curious is kind of like, what motivates you? How do you keep yourself motivated? And also, how do you set goals?
Got it. Okay, what motivates me? My livelihood motivates me. I've always of course, liked nice things and wanted to be the rich auntie of my family. Okay, so that motivates me. As well as, being able to support my family. My sister, I brought on as rich auntie vibes. I brought on my sister as my admin at first, as well. She was working at Carter's, the clothing store in Smithfield, making close to minimum wage. So bringing her on, being able to transform her life, my nephew's life, it's building additional generational wealth within my family. My first sale was my father. My mom had owned a house before and she was in property management, but they had never purchased a house together. So my very first sale was them. So my family, of course, motivates me, as well as, like I said, just my livelihood. And on top of that, just being able to help people. I just said my mom was in property management when I was growing up. And then also she ran a daycare. So when she was running the daycare, I was able to see her help people, just little acts of service that would change people's lives, watching people's kids on Thanksgiving or Christmas, because we were from a rural area where, Walmart doesn't close. Yeah, well, it wasn't back then. Convenience stores wasn't closing. So seeing her going that extra mile to service the people and what it did for them to be able to provide for their family, that's how I look at it when I'm doing a service in real estate. So I'm helping this family or this individual find their first home, forever home, so that they can have a roof over their family's head, and helping them make the decisions that they can use this house as an investment tool to buy the next house and create, additional wealth in their family. So those are the biggest things. My clients motivate me, servicing them to their top potential, as well as, keeping me afloat. And also just making sure that my family is good. Those are my top motivations. So, yep.
Love that. Well, I think too, you are so authentic, and people, you care about people. And I think that is something that it just comes through, and people they want to know that you care about them and what's good for them. So that's awesome.
They really do.
So what does your team look like? Give us a little rundown of your team, and because I know you have a team now, so just tell us a little bit about that.
Got it. Okay, well, you're asking this at a great time because I'm actually restructuring my team, Rebecca. I don't think I told you this yet, but and I'm going to talk about this in mistakes made, because that's one of the questions that you guys have. So when I started my team in 2017, I had 2007, how many was it? It was me and 2 other agents. And from 2017 all the way until to this year in June, we had 8 agents, and they could do listings, they could do work with buyers as well. So about 8 agents that were on my team. At the minimum, we've only had maybe 5 or 6 people at a time. Everybody buyers agents and can do listings as well. That was the wrong way to do it. Okay. Today, my team looks like it's me. I do listings as well as helping buyers. My sister is a full-time buyer's agent. We have a full staff TC, and we also have a full-time admin. And then right now it's 2 other agents who service the Raleigh area. So that's how my team looks now. And that's how it will be going forward. But before, it was just me and a lot of agents. So, and that's just not the proper way to build a team. We just talked about, I'm authentic, I'm real. I had a great set of girls, but we just didn't have the right structure. So if I was on on a call right now with new agents or somebody that's looking to build a team, of course, you want to read, what is it? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Keller Williams. You want to read that because it will help you on how to structure your team properly. And then also, if you have read it and you still I want to do something different, consult with somebody that already has a team, speak with other top producers or someone that's doing something similar to what you want to do, so you can make sure you have your team structure set up correctly from the day one. But if you're getting started and you want to start a team, my advice is, of course, support staff first, then a buyer's agent, and then build it out. So that's what we have right now. Yep.
So speaking of, I guess, biggest mistake, would you say that was your biggest mistake, or do you have any other, I guess, lessons you learned along the way that you think is important for our agents to know?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest lessons learned is team structure. So we just talked about that, making sure your team is structured correctly from the beginning. I could have kept on going the way that I had it, but I like to wake up and know that everybody's making money and we have enough leads to go around, or just enough people that's all in. So just making sure you have the right team structure. That's one of the biggest things. Just talk to other top producers, talk to other team leaders, other broker owners, whatever you want to do, go talk to somebody, as well as, read a couple books to make sure that you're structuring it correctly. And then secondly, get help as soon as you need it. And as a matter of fact, you might want to hire somebody prematurely. And I don't mean you close one deal. Maybe after you close, maybe it's been a full year and you close 12 or 15 deals. You want to look into getting the admin as soon as you feel like you can't service your clients properly. So don't wait to do that. Do that as soon as you can. That's one of my biggest mistakes. Is I had my sister there helping me, but she wasn't really full-time. And before that, I was just kind of all over the place. So getting some support in place is very important. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I made, not hiring support timely. Another thing I would say would be big is, those are my two only like big mistakes that I feel as though that I made that my business could have accelerated faster if that was done originally. So
perfect. Let's see what else. So I guess
Hey, Becca, it's Kianda.
Yeah.
I wanted to chime in and ask another question pertaining to the team. Hey, Tiffany, it's Kianda. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
yes.
Why do you say that having people do both sides was a mistake? Can you kind of elaborate on that side of it?
Well, I wouldn't say that it was a mistake at their experience, but just basically if somebody comes in and they want to be real listing focused, but yet they haven't really serviced any buyers, then you're going to have someone that's not able to, in my eyes, able to properly service their sellers, not in this type of market, but let's say, for instance, well, it is in this type of market too, but you just run into some big issues sometimes with listings. And if you hadn't have any exposure to it on the buyer side, then what information do you have to be able to properly guide your seller? So maybe if somebody wants to come in and do both, right now we'll have it where, they have to shadow a certain amount of listings before they could take on, their first listing. It would need to be referred out, especially if you have a brand to protect, because everybody if you could get the listing, we know it's going to go fast. But if you encountered something where maybe someone gave you escalation clause, or maybe there was an unpermitted space, or just anything that could pop up where you don't have any experience on how to guide your seller, then of course you're going to be leaning on your bid. You're going to be leaning on your team lead heavily in those particular roles. And it's just, to me, if you've had experience working with buyers, you just have a little bit more leverage to be able to navigate a listing. Because we know they're going to go fast, but what happens when the market slows down and they don't go as fast? How are you going to be able to properly, know what to do to market it, besides, put it in the MLS, put sign in the yard, those things. So that's why I say it wasn't necessarily a mistake. I just think that some experience needs to be there in order for you to do it. That's where I'm at with it. But that wasn't one of the things I was focusing on when I said it was a mistake. Just more so of bringing too many people on at the start of a new team. That was a mistake. So.
So what are you doing with your team right now to kind of keep everybody, especially your buyer agents, motivated?
We do a lot of mindset trainings because that's all it is. This is a very challenging market, but nothing worth having is easy. So, we would do Monday power talks. We start off the power talk with gratitude, saying what we're thankful for, having a game plan for what we're going to do this week. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to want to do? Your goal is 50 houses this year. How many buyers you want to get under contract this week? And so we'll set goals as well as putting gratitude out there, and then also having a game plan. So you say you're going to get 3 people under contract this week. What are those 3 clients? Who are those 3 clients? What areas are they looking at? Have we explored all the new construction options? Have you set realistic expectations so that this client can go under contract? So, or if none of these clients that you have, because I'm realistic, if we know it's going to take 14 offers for this client that wants to stay in North Raleigh, well, possibly 14 offers for this client that wants to stay in North Raleigh to, get under contract, then of course we're going to submit that offer. But should they be one of the clients you expect to get under contract this week? Maybe it need to be one of your Kinley clients. And if you don't have a Kinley client, maybe you need to be marketing to get a Kinley client. So I would say just opening our minds to other areas and also keeping a positive mindset about what's happening in this. I told my team, like, this type of market is separating the good from the great, because you do have to go the extra mile in it. And you just have to be all in it. If you love real estate, you're going to have your moments where you might feel defeated from submitting offer after offer. But if your mindset is right and you're really in this, then, listen to some music, get yourself going, have your coffee, and figure out your game plan, write it out about how you're going to accomplish those goals. So I would say just the biggest thing to keeping my team motivated is, of course, keeping the leads going and figuring out who we can service this week, and then just keeping your mindset right. That's the biggest thing, you guys. Without that, you can't get anybody under contract. So.
Yeah, I'm sure your morning routine helps with that, because you're kind of starting the day right, on the right foot, and taking time for yourself so you can pour into your clients at a high level.
Exactly. And I know it sounds cliche. People are like, oh, get your mind right, whatever. But it's so important, you guys. It's books you can read, Beyond Positive Thinking. What else? I'm reading Destiny right now by T.D. Jakes. But yeah, when you know that every obstacle can be climbed over, you just keep pushing. And if you can't keep pushing, this may not be the industry for you or the time period for you to be in it. So.
That's right. I know we only have about 9 minutes, so we want to respect your time. We'll do a couple more questions. So what advice, I guess, would you have for brand new agents? Like, if you were just starting real estate and needed to go out and get a client, what would you say, or what would your advice be for new agents?
My biggest piece of advice for new agents is, of course, post some great content on social media, but secondly is to get out and network. And when I say get out and network, even events like this Zoom, it's probably some people within this list that you need to meet, but getting yourself out there in front of people and networking is going to be so crucial, because you can meet contractors, you can meet attorneys, you can meet clients, you can meet some of everybody that can connect you to somebody. And the bigger your network is, the bigger referral network you have for vendors and clients, as well as just building your business, letting people know, even if they don't want to work with you, if you, let's say, for instance, you go to a new construction community and it's like, oh, I'm working with Tiffany. Oh, I met her at the Wells Fargo, wine event that they had. Like, that builds additional trust within your clients. So I would say, get out and network. I know COVID is still, out here, but there's virtual networking events, social media, you can network. I don't go on Clubhouse anymore, but you can network over there. But that's been very crucial in my business, along with social media, and also just doing some research, taking some classes to know what you're talking about. For instance, you may not have sold a house yet, but you can still go to a new construction community and figure out what is it their process to get people under contract in that community. What are some of the materials that they use that set them apart from another builder? Get knowledgeable on what you're selling so you can be a good saleswoman. So networking, research, and then also last but not least, get you a schedule together. So get you a daily schedule. I'm sorry, everybody texting me, so I'm trying to like get it. So
that is gold.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all, if you have any questions, if you want to ask them or type them in the chat. So I have a question too about, you are so good with your branding. So how do you, like, what does your client experience look like? Because I know you really use your branding and incorporate that into your client experience. So I guess what would be your kind of tips on client experience and how to create, just set yourself apart there?
Client experience, I would say our client experience, we make sure that, of course, we're being professional, but also being very personable. So it's just like we take time to listen to our clients from the beginning to the end. So of course, if it's a buyer client, we have a intake form for questionnaires. That questionnaire, after they fill it out, it prompts them to be able to schedule a consultation. That consultation, whether it's on the listing side or the buyer side, is an hour dedicated to that particular client that we do. And sometimes I go over because I talk a lot. And during that time, they can see my personality as well as my team members' personality. We get their questions answered. We do a good job at listening to what they want, because you would be surprised at how many people come to me and say they just chose me because I listened to what they want. And if somebody's being unrealistic, because we already know we have those clients like that, I also do a good job at setting the right expectation and being realistic with them so that they build trust there. So from beginning to the end, it's a lot of personable touches. It's a lot of just structured emails, templates. People don't care what you know until they know. Yeah. Oh, I can't read the full thing, but it's a lot of structured email that exemplifies our professionalism. If they, need help with moving or just, moving vendors, we have a list to send for that. Preferred lenders, everything's either automated or there's some type of list that we can provide to them to provide value just based off previous clients. And then of course, at the end, if we have clients that's open to closing day pictures, I put on my red heels and we take pictures, we do videos. And then throughout the year, we do different client events. Last year, we didn't get to do as many because of COVID, but we do a client appreciation party every year. I have a plant pamper coming up where we're giving away plants because, everybody's like a house plant mom and stuff like that. So we're giving away plants to our clients to show our appreciation there and small gifts. So, we touch on our clients as much as possible, and we're professional and we're personable. That's all there is to it. We don't do anything extra. We're not paying anybody to leave us reviews. We're being who we are and providing good service. And Jamie, you are one of my favorite clients. I saw you ask who is my favorite client. So
that's awesome.
Any other questions? And I hope this is helpful, you guys.
This has been great. There's so many good nuggets. I've been taking notes. So.
I started to, but I was writing too fast. I'm gonna have to go down and rewatch it just to pull out some things to share it, because there's so many. This has been really good, Tiffany.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Tiffany, I just want to let you know that I know for the past couple of years, we've been talking about me purchasing commercial property, and me and my family did on New Bern Avenue in Raleigh. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you, because getting an office changed my life. And I just want to say thank you. And that we are looking for another commercial property for our trucking, because I do, you don't know this, but I do own the tractor trailer business. I have about 3 trucks now. And we are looking for another one, maybe in Wendell, Zebulon. So I will be contacting you soon. But I just want to say thank you, because this office has changed my life.
Perfect. Awesome. And I do know that you own let me decline this real quick. Oh, sorry, somebody calling interrupted. But I do know that you own a trucking business, because I follow you. I saw you sitting on a truck. So
yes, it's definitely changed my life. And yeah, we'll definitely have to talk, because I need to invest. It really is crazy. The trucking business is crazy. Like, yes. And I do need investments, and that's why we're trying to get another commercial building and like maybe Wendell's up one. But I just want to say personally, thank you. I didn't want to ruin your shine, but I just want to say thank you because when I saw you get an office years ago, and I was like, why did she get an office? But when I got an office, and me and my family had to come together to buy the building, it changed my life, and I just want to let you know.
Perfect. Awesome. And y'all, I used to work with Mikhail. This is another networking moment. I used to work with him when I was in IT. My first big girl job I got laid off from, he worked there as an engineer. So, hey, Mikhail. So, yes.
Thank you. You know, you're my motivation. You know, if you're making it, I'm right behind you.
Yes, let's all make it. Like, let's all make it. Y'all seen Selma, so we all can do this. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just.
We was asking the same thing. No.
This has been amazing. Well, thank you so much for spending an hour with us. We know your time is valuable and we appreciate you so much. And yeah, go follow Tiffany. Her handle's up there, tiffany.mclaurin on Instagram. She's also like the #1 agent in social media. Yes, for North Carolina. So she is awesome at what she does. And thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. So
thank you guys for having me. And you guys make sure you go follow them as well. If you're coming from my page, they're on my last post. Is it Triangle, Keller Williams Triangle?
Oh yeah. What is our handle?
KWYP Triangle.
Yes.
Like
KWYP Triangle NC.
NC, there we go.
Yeah, we got it, and it's on my page, so you guys will be able to find it. But thank you again for having me. I look forward to get on here and catching some of the other ones too from the other mega agents. So.
Yes. We'd love to have you. We'll send you the link. So thank you, Tiffany.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.